My dear students, in this class let us learn about castration and dehorning. Before starting the lesson, I would like to confess that as I am recording this lesson in leisure period in my college, you will be hearing the noise that is generated by our students. Please bear with that, and in this class let us have a bird's eye view regarding castration and dehorning. And learning objectives of this lesson is, in this session the definition of castration and dehorning will be made very clear, and methods adopted for this castration and dehorning will be discussed, and we will also list out the advantages and the limitations of these two techniques, namely castration and dehorning. Castration means removal of testes in male and ovaries in female is called castration. When the genitalia and genital organs are removed, automatically the libido, the sexual potential will be disturbed and it will be affected negatively. As a result, the cattle will be involved in agriculture activity in more effective manner, and it also increases the meat production in the animal. This makes the animals impotent, of course. This leads to emasculation. There is a slight difference between castration and emasculation. In castration only testes are removed, whereas in case of emasculation even the external genitalia like penis will also be removed. And because of this castration and emasculation, virility and spirit of the animal are also reduced. Especially in castration, the research says that before castration, when the testes are intact, the hormonal production, especially the sexual hormonal production will be more, and for this much cholesterol is required. Once the testes and ovaries are removed, automatically the cholesterol that was previously shunted to the synthesis of sex hormones, now it will be shunted to the lipogenesis process. As a result, the meat can be built up very effectively in less time. This increases the meat production in beef industry. This is the reason why this castration is practiced in beef industry regularly. Delayed castration causes much pain, of course. That means this castration should be done prior to weaning. It should be done at a very tender age. This creates pain, stress, swelling, and it may also trigger behavioral change. Of course, benefits are there. Libido is reduced. As a result, energy will be saved. Decrease in the number of dark cutters due to increased muscle pH, and aggressiveness is reduced so that the damage done to the fellow cattle will also be reduced, and tender meat is produced. That means the meat of a castrated cattle has more market value in the present day society. Castrated males are called steers. Castrated males are called steers. Steers command higher price in the market. And now let us see how this castration is done. Surgical removal by veterinarian, this is the best method, or tying of scrotum with rubber bands very tightly so that the blood circulation will be totally stopped. Crushing of the testicular cords with Borodizio clamp. I will show you the diagram of Borodizio clamp, and this is the Borodizio clamp, but it creates so much of pain. But that is the reason why it should be done at tender age, and it may also cause hemorrhages, and sometimes wound caused due to castration may be causing some sort of pain and stress due to delayed wound healing, and excessive swelling may be observed sometimes, and even infection is the threat. And because there is a fly strike, whenever flies alight on the wound, automatically they may spread the infective agents into the wound, and it is necessary to take the help of veterinarian to avoid such risks. Castration is a painful experience. The cattle may struggle and they may exhibit certain behavioral changes like struggling, kicking, tail swishing, restlessness and increased recumbency. So, castration is done at tender age from 1 to 7 days. Within a week castration should be done, and sometimes local anesthesia may be preferred. And after castration, to avoid inflammation and to avoid pain, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs may be administered under medical supervision. And now let us explain about dehorning. Removal of horns in the cattle is called dehorning. Horns are used by cattle for offense and defense. They cause injury to other cattle in the herd and also to the handlers. They become hurdle during transport. For example, when the cattle are transported to the beef industry in a van or in some sort of transport vehicle, they may hurt each other because of the presence of horns. They negatively affect the quality of hide and carcass. So, when the hide or the skin is removed from the carcass, at the area where the horn is present, that will get torn off. So, this may affect the exact quality and market value of the hide and carcass. Horns differ in length, size and shape. Dehorning is a labor intensive process, of course, and much skilled labor is required to undertake this practice. Bleeding occurs after dehorning and this cleanses the wound. That means the blood that is being drained off from the wound, it also helpful as it also drains off various infective agents from the point of wound to the outside. Fly strike is potential threat faced after dehorning, of course. Infection after dehorning should be prevented by using disinfectants and antiseptics. That means the equipment that is used for dehorning should be kept in hot water that is containing certain disinfectants and also antiseptic solutions. Insecticides may be applied around the wound at the base. Removal of insensitive sharp edge of the horn is called tipping. Tipping is something different from dehorning. In dehorning, the entire horn is removed, whereas in tipping only the insensitive sharp edge of the horn is removed. Of course, it does not have much impact. Equipment used for dehorning should be kept in hot water mixed with antiseptic solution. The water should be changed frequently while dehorning. Fly strike should be prevented. Dehorning should be carried out at tender age, because at tender age if dehorning is undertaken, there will not be much bleeding. Dehorning can be done between 2 weeks to 6 months of age. Dehorning should not be undertaken after 12 months of age. During dehorning, sinus cavity should not be exposed. Here you can see very clearly there is one area called it is covered by hair. At the base of the horn you can find an area, a zone which is covered by hairy skin, and there is a frontal sinus that is visible in this diagram, and this frontal sinus opening should not be exposed. So, like that the dehorning process should be done. Method should suit the age of animal and size of the horn. That means different instruments that are used for dehorning purposes depends on the age of the animal and size of the horn. So, here you can find one dehorning knife with a curved blade. It is used normally, so if this dehorning knife with curved blade is used, automatically the wound size and wound intensity will be reduced, and this is the most friendliest dehorning knife, we can say. 1 centimeter of hair around the horn bud should be removed. Dehorning iron is another instrument. Dehorning iron is in the shape of number 0. They have the diameter of 50 mm. The hot iron is placed over the horn bud and the surrounding tissue, and it is twisted. Scoop dehorner is another type of instrument. They are passed down vertically the horns. Head of the animal should be held tightly during scooping. Pushing the handles in outward direction results in scooping. Other dehorning instruments are seen in this diagram: cup dehorners, guillotine dehorners, surgical wire, horn saw and tippers. So, this is about the process of castration and dehorning. Thank you very much.